Following the first vessel seizures, commercial traffic through the highly strategic waters of the Strait of Hormuz has essentially frozen. In a matter of days, Iranian forces opened fire on and boarded multiple cargo vessels, including the MSC Francesca and the Epaminondas. This map shows the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow exit point from the Persian Gulf. The U.S. Navy has been blocking Iranian oil exports along this exact coastline, and Tehran is retaliating by shutting down the passage for international shipping. While ships dodge fire in the Middle East, they face a very different gauntlet in Europe. The European Union is aggressively pushing a global carbon pricing scheme, aiming to heavily penalize the emissions generated by traditional cargo fleets. Between physical military threats at key choke points and the tightening grip of Western climate regulations, the basic mechanics of international trade are fracturing. While overall consumer demand for shipping is cooling down, the cost to rent a cargo ship is doing the exact opposite. This chart shows how that divergence works. First, look at the dropping line. That represents freight rates, the price to ship a single container. On major routes like Asia to Europe, new ships are hitting the water faster than consumers are buying goods, so the cost to move a box is falling. But look at the price to rent an entire vessel. That line spikes. Hundreds of ships are currently trapped in the Persian Gulf or forced into multi-week detours around Africa, which has essentially wiped out the available supply of rentable ships. To keep cargo moving, major shipping lines are frantically sweeping the market. They are renting smaller, regional feeder ships, using them to bypass active conflict zones and patch the holes left in their global networks. Right now, logistics giants are paying massive premiums, specifically to secure operational flexibility and maintain control over their heavily disrupted fleets. This global volatility hits export-heavy nations directly. In Vietnam, despite the chaos at sea, the country's import and export turnover still reached a massive $297 billion by mid-April. There is a glaring vulnerability underneath that number. Vietnam's domestic logistics costs remain significantly higher than its regional competitors, which eats directly into the profit margins of local businesses. To protect its economy, Vietnam is pouring capital into physical infrastructure. This is the site of the upcoming Lien Chu megaport in Da Nang, backed by a 45 trillion VND investment. The facility is engineered to dock 18,000 TEU megaships. Crucially, it is being built from the ground up as a smart and green port, specifically designed to comply with strict new environmental regulations coming from the US and the EU. The Lien Chu project is a defensive shield. It is built to drive down internal costs and insulate Vietnamese exports from the wild swings of the international market. But hardware isn't the only major constraint. The industry is facing a severe shortage of professional seafarers, as the rising dangers in war zones make the career increasingly unattractive. Because the pool of available talent is shrinking, the Ministry of Construction is moving to lower the barriers to entry. They've proposed digitizing the entire recruitment and certification process to make training as frictionless as possible. Reducing the bureaucratic friction needed to keep a steady pipeline of workers is proving to be exactly as critical to the supply chain as pouring concrete for billion-dollar terminals. The era of cheap, frictionless, and politically safe ocean freight has ended. The surviving players are rewriting the blueprint. Companies and nations are moving away from a reliance on single trade arteries. They are pivoting to decentralized networks, deploying smaller, agile vessels, and forcing sustainable practices into every link of the chain. Moving boxes across the ocean is now a high-stakes geopolitical competition. For an export economy, rapid adaptation is the only way to survive the chaos.